Dive into the minds of Kant and Nietzsche as we explore contrasting visions of morality and human nature. Should we anchor our ethics in reason or allow life's vitality to guide us? Join us for a thought-provoking discussion on how these philosophical giants shape our understanding of truth, freedom, and the essence of humanity. This podcast has been generated with Spotify, the app that transforms any document, article, or topic of your choice into engaging conversations. More information in the description below. So, when we talk about Kant's vision of morality, what exactly do we mean by reason as a foundation?
Kant believed that morality should be grounded in reason, which for him meant that ethical principles should be universal and applicable to all rational beings. This stems from the Enlightenment's emphasis on reason as the path to truth, with the idea that reason could bring order and clarity in a world that was increasingly questioning traditional religious morals. He saw reason as the ultimate tool for overcoming moral uncertainty. With the decline of religious authority, there was a need for a rational basis for morality. Kant proposed that instead of relying on external doctrines, we should look to the categorical imperative, which is a principle that commands actions that could be universally applied.
But how does that contrast with Nietzsche's perspective?
Nietzsche, on the other hand, was quite skeptical of the idea that morality could be derived from reason alone. He saw Kantian morality as a kind of constraint on human potential. Nietzsche's philosophy emerged in the 19th century, a time of great crisis and change, and he believed that morality should be rooted in life itself and the individual's personal strength and creativity. Nietzsche argued that traditional morality, including Kant's ideas, suppressed the natural instincts and passions that drive individuals to create and define their own values. For him, morality wasn't about adherence to universal laws but about embracing one's individuality and the chaotic, unpredictable nature of life.
So, if I understand correctly, Kant emphasizes a sort of moral order, while Nietzsche embraces chaos?
Yes, that's a good way to put it. Kant's vision is about finding a structured moral framework that everyone can follow, which he believed would lead to a fair and just society. In contrast, Nietzsche believed that this kind of universal morality stifled human creativity and growth. He thought that individuals should strive to become Übermenschen, or overmen, who transcend conventional morals and create their own values. Nietzsche saw the will to power as a fundamental driving force in human life, encouraging individuals to assert themselves and their desires. This was in stark opposition to Kant's view of duty and obligation as guiding principles.
Isn't there a risk in Nietzsche's approach, though? Could it lead to a sort of moral anarchy if everyone is creating their own values?
That's a valid concern, and it's one of the criticisms often leveled against Nietzsche. His ideas can be interpreted as promoting a kind of moral relativism, where anything goes as long as it aligns with the individual's will. However, Nietzsche wasn't advocating for chaos for its own sake. He believed that through overcoming societal constraints, individuals could achieve greatness and authenticity. His concept of the Übermensch was actually about pushing beyond the herd mentality and embracing one's true potential, not about dismissing any form of moral responsibility. It's about redefining what it means to live a meaningful life.
So, in a way, both philosophers are seeking a kind of moral clarity, but they're approaching it from vastly different angles.
Exactly. Kant's clarity comes from the idea of duty and universal principles that everyone can adhere to, while Nietzsche's clarity is more personal and dynamic, focusing on the individual's journey to self-discovery and empowerment. Both are responding to the uncertainties of their time, but they offer radically different solutions. Kant wanted to provide a stable ethical ground in a world losing its religious footing, whereas Nietzsche wanted to liberate people from what he saw as the chains of conventional morality. It's a fascinating juxtaposition of order versus freedom, reason versus life. Let's dive into how post-Romantic Europe influenced Nietzsche's philosophy. After the upheaval of the Romantic era, Europe was experiencing a sense of disillusionment. The optimism of the Enlightenment had given way to skepticism, especially with the rise of industrial society. This period marked what Nietzsche famously termed the death of God, symbolizing the decline of traditional religious structures and the existential crisis that followed. In this industrialized world, Nietzsche saw a herd morality taking over, where people followed societal norms without question, leading to a kind of spiritual decadence.
Is that what Nietzsche meant by reevaluating all values?
Exactly. Nietzsche believed that to overcome this decadence, humanity needed to question and redefine its values. The existing morality, which he saw as life-denying, needed a complete reevaluation to foster a more life-affirming culture. He sought to inspire individuals to break free from the constraints of herd mentality and embrace their own path to greatness.
And how does this tie into his views on knowledge and truth?
Nietzsche was critical of the concept of absolute truth. He famously said, "There are no facts, only interpretations." This reflects his belief that knowledge is not objective but is shaped by perspectives and interpretations. For Nietzsche, truth was more fluid and subjective, contrasting sharply with Kant's more structured approach. Kant, on the other hand, distinguished between phenomena, which are the things we perceive, and noumena, the things in themselves. He argued that our mind structures our experiences using categories like space, time, and causality. This means our understanding of the world is coherent within the framework of human reason, but it's limited by our cognitive faculties.
So Kant believed in an objective truth, but with limitations?
Yes, he aimed to secure both scientific knowledge and moral understanding within the bounds of rational autonomy. Kant saw truth as coherence within human reason, meaning it was objective in the sense that it was universally understandable by rational beings, but also inherently limited since it couldn't grasp the noumenal world directly. Nietzsche challenged this by suggesting that our pursuit of truth is intertwined with our perspectives and desires. He viewed knowledge as a tool of power, where interpretations can shape reality rather than simply reflect it. This was revolutionary, as it called into question the very foundations of what we consider to be true.
Doesn't Nietzsche's perspective make it difficult to discern any kind of objective morality?
It does create a challenge, which is why Nietzsche's philosophy can be seen as radical. He wasn't suggesting that all interpretations are equal, but rather that we should be aware of the power dynamics in play when defining truth. This awareness enables individuals to challenge imposed values and create their own, more authentic paths. Nietzsche's critique of truth was part of his broader goal to awaken individuals from complacency, encouraging them to question established norms and redefine what it means to live a meaningful life. He saw this as a necessary step to rise above the nihilism and disillusionment of his time.
Is there a way to reconcile these contrasting views, or are they fundamentally at odds?
While they appear fundamentally at odds, there's a fascinating tension between the two that continues to influence contemporary thought. Some philosophers have attempted to find a middle ground, suggesting that while reason provides a stable framework for understanding the world, it should be flexible enough to accommodate the subjective nuances Nietzsche advocates. Ultimately, Kant and Nietzsche offer different lenses through which to view human experience and morality. Kant provides a structured and universalistic approach, whereas Nietzsche challenges us to embrace the complexity and subjectivity of life. This ongoing dialogue between structure and freedom remains a pivotal aspect of philosophical inquiry today. Continuing with Nietzsche's perspective, he saw truth not as a mere reflection of reality, but as a will to power. This suggests that truth is a tool for enhancing life rather than a passive mirror of what is. Nietzsche believed that the constructs of language and logic are human inventions that conceal the inherent chaos of existence. He rejected Kant's dualism of phenomena and noumena, arguing instead that there is no beyond the world of appearances. To Nietzsche, existence is about constant becoming rather than a static being, and truth serves those who wield it to assert their power and influence.
So, Nietzsche's idea of truth is more about utility and influence than objective reality?
Precisely. For Nietzsche, truth is intertwined with power dynamics. By understanding and manipulating these dynamics, individuals and societies can shape their realities. It's a strategic tool rather than an end in itself. This contrasts sharply with Kant's more structured and universalistic approach to truth. Now, when we look at Kant's views on morality, he emphasized what he called the moral law within. For Kant, an action's moral worth derives from acting out of duty, not from personal desires or emotions. His idea of the categorical imperative asks us to act according to maxims that could be willed as universal laws.
What does Kant mean by freedom in this context?
Kant defined freedom as obedience to one's rational will, which he equated with true autonomy. In this sense, acting morally means acting in accordance with reason, free from the sway of our impulses and emotions. He saw this as aligning with human dignity, treating every person as an end in themselves, not merely as a means to an end.
So, for Kant, morality is about rational order and universality?
Exactly. Kant's moral world mirrors Enlightenment ideals, where rationality and universality are paramount. He believed that by adhering to this rational moral framework, individuals could achieve a just and harmonious society. This stands in stark contrast to Nietzsche, who viewed morality as a construct that should be constantly challenged and redefined to reflect life's dynamism. Nietzsche's critique of traditional morality centered around its life-denying aspects. He saw conventional morals as promoting weakness and conformity, while his philosophy encouraged the embrace of life's complexities and the pursuit of individual excellence.
Is there a sense in which Nietzsche's view of morality could be applied today?
Absolutely. Nietzsche's emphasis on questioning established norms and seeking personal authenticity resonates strongly in contemporary society. With the rise of individualism and the questioning of traditional values, his ideas challenge us to redefine what it means to live a meaningful life in the modern world. On the other hand, Kant's emphasis on duty and universal principles remains influential, particularly in discussions of human rights and ethics. His ideas provide a framework for considering the moral implications of our actions in a way that transcends cultural and personal biases.
It seems like both philosophers offer valuable insights, but they approach the concept of morality from such different angles.
Indeed, Kant and Nietzsche represent two ends of the spectrum in the philosophical discourse on morality. Kant offers a structured, rational approach aimed at universal applicability, while Nietzsche challenges us to explore the fluid, subjective nature of morality and embrace the transformative potential of life's unpredictability. Continuing with Nietzsche, he introduced a radical idea known as the transvaluation of values, challenging the traditional moral frameworks of his time. He divided morality into two types, slave morality and master morality. Slave morality, according to Nietzsche, is characterized by qualities like humility, pity, and obedience. It arises from resentment and is about reacting to the power dynamics imposed by others. In contrast, master morality is rooted in affirmation, creativity, and strength, celebrating qualities that enhance life and vitality.
So, Nietzsche saw these two moralities as fundamentally opposed?
Yes, they represent different instincts and responses to life. Slave morality is about conforming to external expectations, often born out of a sense of powerlessness. Master morality, however, embraces life-affirming values, focusing on self-realization and creation. For Nietzsche, good isn't a universal concept but an expression of the vitality of the strong. He critiqued Kant's emphasis on duty, arguing that it suppresses natural instincts and denies life's inherent dynamism. Nietzsche aimed to inspire individuals to create new values and affirm their existence, with the idea of the Übermensch or Overman as the ideal model.
And the Übermensch is essentially about transcending traditional values?
Exactly. The Übermensch represents a person who has gone beyond conventional morality and embraced their own path. It's about overcoming societal constraints and forging a unique identity, embodying strength, creativity, and a will to power. When we compare Kant and Nietzsche, their philosophies offer starkly different sources of morality. Kant's source is reason, focusing on universal principles and the obedient moral agent. Nietzsche's source is life and instinct, celebrating the self-creator who defines their own values.
It seems like their aims are also quite different.
Indeed, Kant's aim is universality, a structured moral order that everyone can adhere to. Nietzsche, on the other hand, aims for singularity, encouraging individuals to embrace their unique strengths and desires. This reflects a broader contrast in tone. Kant's philosophy is serene and structured, while Nietzsche's is more tragic and affirmative, embracing the chaos and challenges of life. This distinction highlights the philosophical tension between order and freedom, duty and instinct, universality and individuality. It's a debate that continues to resonate, influencing our understanding of ethics, identity, and human potential.
Are there any modern implications of these contrasting views?
Absolutely. In today's world, we see these ideas play out in debates about conformity versus individualism, societal norms versus personal freedom. Kant's ideas influence our understanding of ethics, particularly in legal and human rights contexts, where universal principles are crucial. Meanwhile, Nietzsche's emphasis on self-creation and authenticity resonates with contemporary movements that challenge traditional norms and celebrate diversity. His philosophy encourages people to question societal expectations and pursue personal growth, even when it defies convention.
So, in a way, both philosophies have shaped how we navigate the complexities of modern life.
Yes, both Kant and Nietzsche offer vital insights into the human condition. They provide frameworks for understanding the balance between societal expectations and personal freedom, guiding us as we navigate the ever-evolving landscape of morality and identity. Let's delve into how Kant and Nietzsche viewed human nature and freedom, starting with Kant. He saw humans as dual beings, torn between sensible desires and rational will. For Kant, true freedom was achieved through autonomy under the moral law, where individuals act according to their rational will rather than their impulses. This autonomy is not about doing whatever one pleases but about aligning one's actions with moral duty. Kant believed that progress could be achieved through self-discipline, education, and a commitment to moral principles. This view underscores his vision of a rational being striving for moral perfection.
And how does Nietzsche's view differ from this?
Nietzsche regarded humans as evolving and unfinished, emphasizing a vital aspect of human nature. Freedom, to Nietzsche, was the power to affirm and overcome oneself, to become who you are. This process of becoming is about creation and self-affirmation rather than obedience to external moral laws. He rejected concepts like guilt and sin, which he saw as life-denying fictions that stifle human potential. Nietzsche's philosophy encourages individuals to embrace their instincts and desires as part of their journey towards self-actualization.
So, Nietzsche's idea of freedom is more about personal evolution and creativity?
Precisely. For Nietzsche, freedom is about transcending limitations and embracing one's full potential. It's a dynamic and transformative process, where the individual continually redefines themselves in the face of life's challenges. Now, looking at the historical resonance of their ideas, Kant's legacy is profound. He laid the foundation for modern ethics and liberal democracy, influencing deontological ethics, which focuses on the morality of actions themselves rather than their consequences.
And how does this legacy manifest in today's world?
Kant's influence is evident in contemporary discussions of human rights and moral progress. His ideas support the notion that every individual possesses inherent dignity and should be treated as an end in themselves. This has shaped international human rights frameworks and continues to inform debates on justice and equality. Moreover, Kant's vision of moral progress through rationality and autonomy aligns with the aspirations of liberal democracy, where laws and institutions are designed to protect individual freedoms and promote collective well-being.
It's interesting how both philosophers, despite their differences, have left such a lasting impact.
Indeed, while Kant provides a structured ethical framework that supports societal order, Nietzsche challenges us to question and redefine our values, encouraging personal growth and authenticity. The interplay between these philosophies offers a rich dialogue that continues to shape our understanding of freedom, morality, and human nature.
Are there areas where Nietzsche's influence is particularly strong today?
Nietzsche's impact is notably strong in cultural and existential thought, where his ideas challenge conventional norms and inspire movements toward individuality and self-expression. His philosophy encourages people to question societal constraints and pursue paths that resonate with their personal truths. In a world increasingly focused on personal identity and authenticity, Nietzsche's call to become who you are resonates with those seeking to navigate the complexities of modern life, making his influence as enduring as Kant's. Turning to Nietzsche's legacy, his ideas have been a major influence on existentialism, psychoanalysis, and postmodernism. His exploration of individual autonomy and the critique of traditional values laid the groundwork for existentialist thought, which emphasizes personal freedom and responsibility in a seemingly indifferent universe. In psychoanalysis, Nietzsche's insights into the human psyche and the unconscious influenced figures like Freud, who further explored the tensions between societal norms and individual desires. Postmodernism also draws from Nietzsche's skepticism of absolute truths, questioning the narratives that define our understanding of the world.
Nietzsche's ideas have sometimes been misinterpreted, haven't they?
Yes, unfortunately, his works have been co-opted by various ideologies, including totalitarian regimes, which misuse his concept of the Übermensch to justify their agendas. These misinterpretations often overlook Nietzsche's focus on individual empowerment and his critique of mass conformity. Additionally, Nietzsche foresaw the modern crisis of meaning and the rise of nihilism, where traditional values no longer hold sway, leading to a sense of existential disorientation. His philosophy challenges us to find meaning in a world where old certainties are fading.
As we draw to a close, can we summarize the contrast between Kant and Nietzsche?
Certainly. Kant aimed to build a rational, universal moral order, grounded in reason and duty, which he believed would lead to a harmonious society. Nietzsche, on the other hand, sought to destroy all idols and affirm life's inherent chaos, encouraging individuals to create their own values. The tension between their philosophies highlights a crucial balance. Without Kant's emphasis on structure and universality, we risk chaos, relativism, and societal dissolution. Conversely, without Nietzsche's call to challenge and renew, we face stagnation, conformity, and decay.
So, in a way, civilization might need both perspectives?
Precisely. Reason provides the framework to build and sustain society, while vitality ensures that we remain dynamic and adaptable. This duality invites us to contemplate how we can integrate both reason and renewal in our pursuit of a meaningful life.
The debate between Kant and Nietzsche leaves us with open questions about the nature of morality, freedom, and human potential. As we continue to explore these philosophical giants, we are reminded that the quest for understanding is ongoing. Engaging with their ideas encourages us to reflect on how we can balance order with creativity, building a world that honors both structure and individuality.